Ever walked into an old house and thought, wow, this place has character? Yeah, well, some characters never left. Welcome back to the channel where creaky floorboards and flickering lights aren't just bad maintenance, they're red flags. Today we're diving into 5 old house horror stories that'll make you think twice before buying anything with vintage charm on the listing. Let's start with a house that didn't just whisper, it screamed. Ready? Let's go. Story 1. The Attic That Cried at Midnight. A couple moved into a beautiful 1800s colonial-style home in New England. Stone fireplace? Check. Grand staircase? Check. A crying attic? Wait, what? Every night, right at 12:03 a.m., they heard the soft sobs of a child from the attic. They checked it once, twice, even installed cameras. Nothing, but the crying kept coming. Turns out, a century ago, the original owners lost their daughter during a brutal winter, and the attic was her hiding place. They moved out after the crying turned into laughter. Yeah, no thanks. Story 2. The Mirror That Refused to Forget. In an old Victorian house in Mississippi, a man discovered a gilded mirror in the basement during renovations. Antique? Yes. Creepy? Also yes. Every time someone walked past it, their reflection would stay a second too long. Like blink after you did. He swore the mirror was watching him, not the other way around. When a historian came to inspect it, she said, "Oh, wow, this belonged to a funeral home." Of course it did. The mirror now lives in a storage unit, wrapped in 4 layers of cloth. You know, just in case it gets bored. Story 3. The Rocking Chair That Never Stopped. A family in Yorkshire bought a charming cottage with a front porch and, how sweet, an antique rocking chair. The thing is, no one used it, but it rocked, constantly. They blamed wind, pets, gravity, ghosts, the usual. Until one night, the dad stayed up to prove it was nothing. At 2 a.m., he watched it start rocking on its own, and then stop when he looked directly at it. Next morning, the chair was gone. No one in the house touched it. They found it in the basement, facing the wall. They gave it to an antique shop. The chair came back 2 weeks later. Burning it was, apparently, the only solution. Story 4. The Door That Shouldn't Be There. In a farmhouse in Ohio, a couple discovered a hidden door behind a bookcase. Did they leave it alone like every sane horror movie viewer would? Of course not. They opened it. Behind it was a staircase leading down, ending at another door. And behind that, a single room. 4 stone walls, 1 old wooden chair, and carvings on the wall that said, "He waits here." They slammed it shut, pushed the bookcase back, and never spoke of it again. But occasionally, they hear knocking behind the wall. Yeah, I'd sell the house for a sandwich at that point. Story 5. The Toy That Followed Them. A couple bought an 1800s farmhouse in rural Pennsylvania. While exploring the attic, they found a dusty old stuffed rabbit, classic nightmare fuel. They donated it. Next morning, it was on their kitchen counter. They threw it out. Next week, It was on their bed. Eventually, they took it to a priest who refused to touch it, saying, "This is not a toy." The couple ended up burying it in concrete under the garage. They say it's gone for good, but every once in a while, they find tiny dirt tracks in the hallway. Old houses have charm, history, and sometimes roommates who don't pay rent and never leave. If you enjoyed these spooky tales from the past, give this video a like, hit subscribe, and tell us in the comments, would you dare live in an old house, or is modern drywall more your vibe? And remember, next time a realtor says, "slightly haunted," ask, "how slightly?" Until next time, sleep tight, don't let the attic cry.